right, so hey, you guys, thanks for tuning in to the Diva Hustle Show. I'm here with Sam, the founder and CEO of Black Men Style. Hey, Sam, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, tell me a little bit about how you started and found Black Men Style.
So, Black Men Style, it was an idea before until, I was visiting some family out in Houston, Texas. And I got to be a part of a shoot, and it was a shoot, it was full of Black men. And it was a very powerful shoot. It was real moving. So after that experience, I was just like, okay, you know what? I would love to bring this energy to Toronto, and came back down, and as I was here, contacted some friends, other friends contacted other friends. I kind of explained the initiative, and guys were for it. So we got together, and that's pretty much how it all came about. We did the first shoot. It was last summer. It was when we did the first one.
Okay.
And that's how it came about.
Now, was it founded? Did y'all start it in Canada, or is it across the United States?
We started in Canada. However, it's a global movement. It's not only happening over here in Toronto. Happening in the States, happening in parts of Europe, happening in parts of Africa as well.
And so what is the mission behind it? Like, I know I came across you guys on Instagram, and I just was like, I love to see Black men dressed nice, not with jeans hanging down to their behinds, and so what was the mission into it?
Now the mission is to change the narrative that's been deemed upon Black men. There's stereotypes, all sorts of stereotypes about, Black men. Of course, Black men and Black people as a whole. However, what we're trying to do is combat those stereotypes. It's showing that power, it's showing that unity. It's showing, what the media, what all sorts of media have done to it's pretty, sorry.
That's okay.
I get lost with my words sometimes, but what it is it's really showing that unity that media tries to show us that we don't have, right? And
so are y'all like fashion designers, or do y'all just what goes into when y'all doing y'all shoots, or y'all going to events for Black Men Style?
So we do have, there are some guys who are there who are fashion designers, but we have, doctors, lawyers, we have, community leaders, engineers, nurses. We have guys in all alleys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just about, it's the fashion point of it. Of course, it's what kind of brings guys together, but then it's also showing that diversity, and that diversity that we do have, that a lot of young Black men don't get to see, right? So when we come together as a collective, we're uplifting each other. Everybody's sharing business cards, really supporting one another.
So it's more like a network, right? So that's what's more like Black men getting together.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Mm-hmm. I'm here for it. So what have changed since you started the business? Like what had changed in yourself since you had started the Black Men Style business?
In myself, I guess it's really really seeing I can't say too much has changed in myself, because I pretty much knew what the outcome could be when it came to Black Men Style, because we love to see each other progress, regardless of how people try to people might try to tell us differently. We do like to see each other progress, and we do like to support each other nonetheless. So Things that have changed, I mean, other than Black Men Style growing, that would be the major change, right? Because, you know, we started off, you know, some people were interested, you know, they'll like, oh yeah, you know, sounds cool, everything like that. But, you know, as it, you know, as time progressed, and, you know, you're really, you know, speaking on what we're trying to do, then, you know, people start to get it and start to get it. And of course, you know, when you see things on social media, yeah, you know, people really start to tune in. So I would
So
say
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if anything, the biggest change would be our growth.
So do you find when you're like reaching to young men, maybe like 18,
Mhm.
19, 20, do you find that it's harder to persuade them or to get them like to understand your mission? Because you know when
Uh,
you're young, you're like, look, I want to
mhm.
be with the hip hop and crowd.
Of course, and I get it, because I was there. You know, I was there. I was there not too long ago. Um,
Hmm.
some of them get it. Some of them get it, right? Because, you know, some of them, you know, have a bit more of a mature outlook on life. Some of them aren't
Hmm.
completely there as yet, right? Sometimes you got to go through things before you really see the bigger picture. So
Hmm.
it's not that it's difficult. It's just they're
Hmm.
just not there yet. You know, within the younger
Okay.
demographic and everything like that, right? Especially when it comes to anything in a formal setting, they might not be going to you know, either if it's jobs or certain events where they have to be dressed formally. So a lot of the time, if anything, they'll shy away from it. But, you know, as time goes
True.
on, then yeah, I mean, some of them reach out and will say, hey, you know what, I want to be a part, and, you know, how do I go about it? So there are, you know, younger guys who do want to be a part, definitely.
And what made you? So I understand this is a nonprofit.
It's not for profit organization, yes.
Yes. So what made you go into go and incorporate the organization as a nonprofit versus like an LLC?
Mhm.
What was the mind thinking behind that?
So it was because, well, why? Because of the other elements we want to incorporate in Black Men Style. You know, I wanted to, you know, incorporate, you know, leadership programs. You know, further down the line, mental health programs. You know, because that is a big thing, you know, within the community. You know, if there's, you know, business programs, whether it's you know, helping guys, you know, make adjustments to the resumes, you know, so it, you know, tailors them to the right, you know, right places. You know, just really trying to create that safe space for the Black men within our community. So
I
that's the
understand. I
reason for it.
understand.
Mhm.
And what are the best resources that have helped you along the way?
Best resources. Say social media definitely, because
Hmm.
everybody's on there. Everybody's always looking. Um, when it comes to anything, you know, people are always looking on social media, you know, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, you know, all those different social media outlets. And, you know, besides that is just, you know, community, the community,
Right.
you know,
Right.
just sharing, speaking, you know, wanting to be a part. So, yeah.
Okay. And how are y'all adapting? Like, has it been a major impact on y'all growth or plans for 2020 due to COVID, or are y'all like okay?
No, you know, that's the thing. Okay, so um, I mean, of course, everybody had plans, you know, for this summer. Everybody had plans.
Right.
We had done some work, you know, within the winter months. You know, we did something. We did. It wasn't anything big, but it was just something small where it was closer to, you know, Black History Month. However, we were really looking to, you know, to do, you know, more stuff, you know, in the warmer months. But, you know, of course, COVID came about, and so we couldn't, you know, gather the same way. Couldn't, you know, really, especially as Black Men Style started growing more, you know, guys wanted to be a part. So you know, we
Right.
did, you know, one small shoot, but it was just
Hmm.
to kind of test the waters, right? Um, then, you know, had planned. It was actually last weekend or the weekend before, we were planning our biggest one, right? The expectation was
Hmm.
over 100 guys were going to be a part of it, you know,
Wow.
over 100
Wow.
Black men, right? So of course, we were almost there, but then they had set down the new laws where you couldn't gather outside if it's anybody over. Well, if it groups, you can't be in a group larger than 25 people.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's
because it
the
was
thing
going to
that's
be,
killing everybody.
yeah, and because it was going to be the very first day that it was set into place, we didn't want to be used as, I didn't want our black men to be used as an example, right? Because when people get things on their
Right.
phone, it just becomes a whole situation. And when you're trying to change a narrative, the last thing you want is a narrative, being flipped on you, right? So I had to pull the plug
Right.
on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like even now when we're dealing with what's your viewpoints as we're dealing with Black Lives Matter? I know there's protests going around all around the country, all
Mm-hmm.
around the world,
Mm-hmm.
London, Canada, United Kingdom. So what's your take and you're being a entrepreneur, black man entrepreneur? What is your take on it?
My take on it is, I mean, Black Lives Matter is, doing a phenomenal job. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
now I don't know all details when it comes to the organization. However,
Mm-hmm.
speaking for, speaking on the injustices, speaking on, these the slayings of our brothers and sisters, by the police.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a great job. When it comes to, and because of that, it's created a ripple effect, right? There's all these other marches that are happening. Like it's a global movement, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
just, it wasn't just recognized in the States, North America being Canada and United
Right.
States, have moved together. And even, I had guys even contact me from like New York, looking
Right.
to set up like a dual walk, but of course, we can't. We were restricted, because of COVID and everything like that.
Right.
It's in Europe, in East Asia, it's you see it in Asia. You've really seen it now. Not saying that everybody is for it, but at least you can really see that the world has seen and understands that there is an issue. There is a real issue,
Right.
and it needs to be fixed.
Right. Right. And so my next question goes into what advice would you give a young man that's trying to pursue or looking to pursue fashion,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a black male. I look at Kanye West clothing line Yeezys, and to me that's not fashion. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? With the hose, t-shirts, and because if you're going to spend, you find out that a lot of young men, they'll spend $300 on some sneakers or a Yeezy shirt, but then don't even have a professional suit to go to an interview.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what advice would you give someone, a black man trying to get into fashion?
Any black man looking to get into fashion, well, that's the thing. It all depends on, what road of fashion he's looking to get onto, right? I know,
Right.
you're saying like you don't agree with, the way, Yeezy has, kind of handled things on his end. However, that all of that is a new fashion. All of that has been around. When it comes to like, acid
Right.
wash jeans, ripped jeans, and all those different things. I mean, when you look at guys like Dapper Dan, who was ripping apart Louis Vuitton and Gucci products and recreating them to really show black expression, right?
Right.
Not
Right.
what
Mm-hmm.
Louis Vuitton made per se, but what we like. It would be our rappers, our artists who would go to him and say, I want to like this or I want to like that. It's our expression. So as for Yeezy's clothing, the only thing I don't agree with is the overpricing, right? That is the issue.
Okay. Okay.
But because it is luxury, then I mean, what can we really say? We're not complaining about all these other high-end brands having their prices as high as they do. So we shouldn't really complain when our own people, start their luxury brands and the prices are where they're at, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but as for our young black men, it's when it comes to, dressing a certain way, you can't, I would never expect every young black man to have a suit. That I would never do, because we don't know, well, one, how they've been brought up, right? For somebody who, for example, has been brought up like maybe in the church, or, maybe grew up with, if it's not, older father, older brother, or older uncle's grandfather, who always carried themselves in that manner, then they would, more than likely try to carry themselves that way. But for those who've never had that, they might have, I know guys who have grown up to, within their 30s and then never owned a suit, right? They never had a reason. They never even attended a wedding and things like that, right? So everybody has their own story and their reasoning. So but nonetheless, I'm supportive of, of as long as it's positive and a black man will benefit from it, then I'm supporting it 100%.
I mean, I just feel like we all express ourselves, right? Women, men, we all express ourselves differently, especially with our clothes. That's how we express ourselves. I just feel like young men right now in the time, you don't have to have a suit. But, it's like if you walk down the street, and especially now we're dealing with this racism tension in the world, you can walk down the street and your interaction with someone may be different. But if someone else walks down the street with a T-shirt and their pants hang around their waist, their interaction might be different and things can escalate different. I feel like with young men, they definitely need organizations like this, Black Men Style, to give them that type of guidance that they don't have. I know as an entrepreneur, when we're doing interviews, people come with Timbs, and you like, you know what I mean? Like, you like, that's so unprofessional. And, we have to teach each other. We brothers and sisters. So it's our duty to teach our, younger ones about it is. But at the same time, if why not have some guest or Gap khakis in your closet, but you'd rather go spend the money on, some Yeezys or Jordans or something like that. I just feel like some young men need to really hear it and get the message.
Oh, definitely. And, and like I said, like I was there, luckily I had my father to guide me and tell me when and when not to, like growing up, like, I wore my pants low, Jordans, it was a need, it was, if it was your do-rag hanging from your back pocket and having a do-rag on your head, long tees, like we went through that era. We did go through that era. You do go through that part of life, but like I agree with what you're saying. They need to, our young black men need to understand, when you're going to a professional setting, you need to carry yourself professionally and look accordingly, right? So there's no argument against that, because you'll see these things, for example, when they're getting drafted in the NBA, right? They have never worn a suit, but the expectation is when you are being drafted, you come in a suit, right? You don't just come as you come in a suit, right? And because you're really trying to show that you are at another level. It's growth. I mean, you see it in in hockey. I'll give you hockey as an example, right? They start them at a very young age. Once they start playing organized hockey, those guys are already in suit jackets and dress shirts and ties. They might not, it might not all look, proper, but by the time they're adults, it's a norm to them. They can tie a tie in a second because they've been doing it all their lives. Even if it's not a situation where they go into a profession that's gonna that they're always gonna be dressed like that, at least they already know, right? And we need to do that for our young black boys as well, right? And in the sports that we do play. So especially like you see it in football. You might not see it on TV all the time, but you'll see like these guys, when they come, they're dressed very well, very well.
Oh, very well. Oh yeah. I mean, even like I was watching a documentary on Allen Iverson, and up until when he was in the NBA, the players would arrive with the suits. I mean, they would be clean cut, and then Iverson arrives on the scene, and he has the braids, and he has the do-rags and the big chain. So you'll see it, but now when you're younger, you're like, oh, he just expressing himself. But as you get older, you're like, nah, you really supposed to elevate yourself when you're in that level. And you're making millions and millions of dollars. So you're not, show it.
And that's the thing. Iverson speaks on those things now. Like he not too long ago, I'd seen him. He had mentioned, he wishes, he's really trying to speak to, the younger generation so that they don't make the mistakes that he made, right? And it was because of those decisions that, when he did, there was a time where he was in the NBA and then, he was out for a bit and he wanted to come back, and they wouldn't take him. They wouldn't just take him in because he wasn't the easiest person to deal with. Right. So, personality, and because he's like, you guys are going to accept me for how I am. However, like I was saying, when he got drafted, trust me, he was in a suit. He was in a suit when he got drafted.
Right. He was. I remember that. Him and then who else was it? It was another guy in the suit because they got traded before because Iverson was going to go to the other team. I remember something like that. I think it was Garnett.
Garnett. Yeah. Garnett.
Yeah. That's who it was.
Stephon Marbury was that same year too. So yeah, everybody was in a suit. They were all in suits, right? So when you came into the NBA, you wore a suit. Now you're in, carry yourself accordingly. Don't try to start making your own rules. So, but I mean, of course, like he said, he's like, I'm not Jordan. Okay, we understand that. However, you are in the NBA, so that is, how you were supposed to carry yourself. You're supposed to be, you are the new leader of, of young, Black culture. These guys are looking up to you. Try to carry yourself in that manner, right? So.
Yeah. And what is one of the most common misconceptions about Black men?
Well, so many misconceptions. I mean, they'll tell you that, Black people can't work together. Black people aren't organized. Black people or Black men are aggressive. I mean, media even sexualizes us, both men and women. It's they'll tell us things like Black men don't grow up with their fathers in their lives, or Black men will always leave their women, or always cheat, and or Black people don't get married. There are so many misconceptions, that we're thugs, we can only be athletes, we're not smart, and it's just like it's to grow up and you hear all those things, and not only that you hear it, but that's how we're portrayed in movies, books, and the news. It's just like it's hard to get out of that thinking when that's all that's been around you, that's all you ever hear, right? So that's why Black men's style is so it's so vital, because we get to show images of ourselves in a positive light, right? So showing that unity, it allows other young Black boys or even Black men, who've never seen this kind of unity, to want to be a part of something.
Right. It's funny because I was watching a documentary on I forget the basketball player name, but he ended up going over to China and finished his career over, right. And he came back, he was doing a documentary, and he was telling the little boy, like, you can be the president. And the little boy was sitting in their hair, getting his haircut, and he's sitting in a chair, and he just was like, he thought about it for a while, and he was like, yeah, and just, it was touching because, like you saying, young men, especially our young boys, they don't see themselves in that image, because when they go wake up in the morning or go outside, they might just see guys hanging on the corner, or they don't see that man being professional, well spoken, well groomed, in a nice suit or a nice attire, and they working or doing something positive.
And when I watched the documentary as well, and because it was the main topic was always Coney Island, and just like when he asked him, he's like he told him, he's like you can be the president of the United States, and the boy was silent, And he's like,
Mm-hmm,
nobody ever
mm-hmm,
told you that. And the boy said no. And, it hit
mm-hmm,
Mark because,
mm-hmm.
he started tearing up and everything like that. And
Yeah.
it was such a powerful moment because it was like, how many of us have never heard that before, right? And that's why
Right. Right.
when Obama did become president, the black world was shaking because it was like, you know, a black president in the United States of America. It was just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I mean, us in Canada, uh, we don't go by American laws and everything like that. We have our own system.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody is like, yeah, Obama, and it's I'm telling you, it was something special. It was something big, and it was the same reaction. When Black Panther came out.
Right. Right.
One, as for when Obama got inaugurated, it was the world had never
Mm-hmm.
seen a black president in America. When Black Panther came out, we had
Mm-hmm.
never had a black
Had a
superhero,
superhero.
right? And it
Right.
was
Mm-hmm.
you can see that ripple effect. So black people are looking for that representation. They're looking to see
Yes.
themselves in those spaces, right? And because
Yes.
of that, like I said, with Black Men Style, when black men get to see themselves, when you see another black man, you can imagine yourself in his position. You're only gonna want to go
Mm-hmm.
further. You're only gonna want to
Mm-hmm.
climb. So yeah,
Right.
it's yeah.
What is one of your biggest failures, and what did you learn from it as an entrepreneur?
One of my biggest failures. One of my biggest failures. Um, Pertaining to Black Men Style,
Yes.
the biggest failure, it was because of COVID. I can tell you that. It wasn't because of, it wasn't our fault. But biggest failures, I can't really say I've had any major failures, at this very moment. It's just, kind of, I guess
Mm-hmm.
creating the right team to be around, as we continue to push the movement. So I can't say that there are any failures just as yet. I mean, of course, the failures will come, and I will learn and move, and we will move from there. But as for failures, I can't say right now that we've had any, just because we're still very new, but we're moving very fast.
Okay.
Right. So.
And when did it start? When did Black Men start?
Started 2019. 2019. So
Oh, okay. So
2019
last
is
year.
when I would say we initially got off and running. Planning started in 2018. Conversation was in 2018, but got off and running in 2019. So it's like February 2019.
Okay. And where do you see Black Men Style in 5 years?
In 5 years. I see Black Men Style. I see Black Men Style all over the media. I see Black Men Style, in magazines, in within our Black communities. I see Black Men Style at unbelievable heights. I don't want to. I don't want to say exactly because I know we're getting there. So I just want everybody to see. I just want everybody to see as everything comes together. So
Okay.
but
All right. That sounds good.
Thank you.
And so, where would you want our listeners, the Diva Hustle Show listeners, to check you out? How can they get in contact with you guys, Black Men Style, if they want to get in contact with you guys or refer you to some guys that they might know or kids?
Mm-hmm.
What's the best way to get in contact?
Best way to get in contact is either by email or get in contact with us through the Instagram page. I mean, get in contact with us through the Instagram page, or it's always moving. So it's BLKMENSTYLE, Black Men Style. So BLKMENSTYLE.
And y'all have a website?
The website is under construction. We have to, make some adjustments and everything like that. So once the website is out, that's the thing. It's going to be posted on the page. Link will be in the bio, and everything will go from there.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. I can't wait. Well, Sam, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day
Thank you.
to chat with us about Black Men Style. Don't be a stranger. Anytime you have some events coming up, make sure you come back and hit us up. We'll be glad to talk to you.
Of course. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. And you know, we're just waiting right now. You know, we'll see when the borders open, right? We would love to you know, make our way over there as well, but right now our focus, you know, of course, is on our Black men, you know, within Canada. But you know, there are brothers from you know south of the border from us, so like, you know, over there with you guys who have reached out and would like to be a part. So once the borders open up, we'll make something happen.
All right. Sounds good. I'm gonna stop the recording.